All right, welcome back to another show. It's your boy Leon Duncan. I am real estate broker, investor. Yeah, full-time guy on the real on YouTube. You better believe it. But thank you for joining me with another real estate lunchbox. This is our hangout show. We just hanging out today. What you see is what you get. Talk a little bit about real estate. We're gonna talk about the culture because at Real Estate Lunchbox, this is where the real estate and the culture merge. So we got a lot of stuff we're going to talk about, guys. I'm always going to help you not make these badass decisions, especially bad decisions that I done made. Some people may want you to think that they crystal clean. I done made some bad decisions. So I'm always going to stop you from making those badass decisions. Yes, I always will stop you. Shoot, man. So every time, I keep trying to play with this format because we want to make sure we do things a little bit just, curated. I hate boring shows also. So let's start with this. Gold up right now, $4,869. Silver is at $76.86. Bitcoin's at $71,326. And I threw something new in there. I threw in oil. Oil is at $98.21. Now, why do we talk about this? Because I'm going to tell you, I truly believe we're going faster into a recession if we're not there already, but what's deeper is a depression. Yeah, I do believe that. I was talking to an old school investor yesterday. This dude is like 80-something years old. Fought in Vietnam. He was in the military when I was born. So we connect because two military guys, right? So he was in the military when I was born. And he said, Leon, I believe we're going for a depression. Now, I've seen this guy do deals in the past that I've worked on deals with him, and I've seen him, observe him do stuff in the past. So I'm like, this guy, he's on to something. A lot of his deals, he be on to something. He be talking some stuff. He be talking some stuff.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So I started looking at the market deeper, and I said, damn, I think we probably are going to hit a recession. And worse, a depression. Yeah, I do. But this has been the conversation even before Trump got into office. We knew it, and it was throwing signs probably about 2 years ago. So he's going to do everything he can to keep this thing up. And in some ways, some of his faulty decisions, because he does, he's probably going to push us faster and closer to it, fast and furious. So I'm always going to tell you what I see 20 years in the business of real estate. Always going to tell you what I see since investing since 2015. Always going to tell you what I see. Always going to tell you. And my perspective has been you need to have multiple streams. Keep your 9 to 5 as long as you can keep it, but you got to build some moats around what you're doing. And so we'll talk more about that. But today, we're going to cover a couple things. We're going to cover Trump's executive order, an increase in listings, Washington State high income tax, buying a house, 40, the average age is 40 right now. Houston spring break, the Airbnb trauma. You guys, boy, I tell you, in real estate mindset. So before we get it popping, I always like to start with something nice and light. I don't always like to go crazy heavy at one time. That's it. Because real estate can be a crazy heavy subject and some people come for it. And then some people just come to hear other things I say. But let's jump on this. Let's start off with Houston's crazy behind spring break. Why would you cover spring break, Leon? And you're a real estate guy. You talk about real estate. Why the hell you want to talk about spring break? Because some of you people are still renting them Airbnbs out at spring break, and y'all still don't get the message. Y'all still haven't gotten it. Houston, I think, has one of the best Airbnb markets, if I'm correct. And but you guys still not connecting these dots. When they have these spring break events, man, it turns the city upside down. I looked at so many videos. I saw so much stuff. I said, man, I can't some of this stuff I can't put in. I can't put it because it's a real estate meeting culture show. I'm not trying to just talk culture, and some of the stuff in culture ain't gonna help you get to the bag. I'm gonna tell you what you need to do to get to not just the bag, but really to get your mind right. Because anybody can get to this real estate bag, which I know from just historically. I remember the first time I got a $20,000 check in real estate, and I was I felt like, okay, I just didn't feel anything. Like some people would get excited, like, man, I made 20,000, blah blah blah. And I made more than that before in one deal, but I felt this. I don't know. It was something about this deal. I just felt this void. I felt this emptiness. Maybe it was because I felt like it was all based upon chasing the bag, and there wasn't no real growth going on. I'm telling you, I'm teaching y'all. Stay on to it. So the reason we don't just talk about real estate, we talk about the culture, is because the culture needs to get his mind right. The culture needs to get their mind right. Now, the culture is a very vast pool, of course, right? But the culture needs to get right before it can really actually see some of the things I think is open for a lot of people when it comes to real estate. And I'm sad when I see people miss the bag, and then they get on Facebook, they get on TikTok, get on YouTube, and constantly complain. Oh, they fired me for my job. Oh, I'm about to get foreclosed on. Oh, my house, this, I lost my car. All these things happen in life. They don't stop happening. Life never stops happening. But how do you handle it? How's your mindset when it comes to handling it? That's what I like to talk about the culture, because if I can just plant a couple seeds to get y'all thinking about this a little bit differently, I might just change your world. I might change somebody's world. Hopefully there are worlds of people that live in Atlanta that I change. Because damn, I'm tired of y'all. I'm tired of y'all. Maybe, hopefully, but it is what it is. But you guys took over Houston, and I did this Living in Atlanta versus Houston series, right? And I'm probably going to revisit it, and we're going to dive down a little bit deeper, because Houston is slowly becoming the Black Atlanta, or they're throwing Black Atlanta vibes. So let's see what they look like on paper, because people run to different places, I guess, because of the vibe. And then you guys find out that, I probably would have did better up there. I probably would have did better in the DMV. I probably would have did better in Dallas. Or probably would have did better in Miami, or wherever, Fort Lauderdale, whatever, Charlotte, Jacksonville. So many beautiful cities we just been blessed to have in our country. But and also to have black people in, have my black people in, my brothers and sisters in. So we're probably going to revisit that. But before we even get into all of that, let's go ahead and talk about this spring break issue. Because boy, I tell you, you guys, very interesting. Very, very, y'all just don't stop. It just don't stop. Let's go.
Well, in case you missed it, Houston is now a spring break destination. Who knew? But it's bringing crowds and big business to H-Town. But social media is also revealing another side, an unfortunate side effect, chaotic street takeovers.
So crowds like you're about to see them right here. They've been popping up all over the city, also forcing businesses to close early. Our Joy Addison went over to Edo to discover how those disruptions raise concerns for future events.
This parking lot behind me is empty right now, but can you imagine hundreds of spring breakers blocking entrances, fighting and threatening businesses? Well, that's what happened Saturday night, and business owners say they're suffering the fallout of spring break in Houston. This video, too graphic to show in its entirety, shows spring breakers dancing in the street, purposely flashing passing drivers. Those activities spilled into nearby parking lots, causing mayhem.
It was quite a mob outside.
Bar owner Neil Fernandez says his East Downtown business was surrounded by people who were not even customers.
Just dozens, in some cases 100 or more, just kids just in the parking lot.
He shares a parking lot with the Exxon Mobil gas station on the corner of McKinney and Sampson.
Now, I saw it wasn't just kids. Even though he said kids, some of y'all grown men have been out there in Houston spring break. Some of y'all have been going to these spring break events, and I'm telling you, you need to stop, okay? Let the kids wild out. Matter of fact, if you got kids, you need to bring them back. You got nieces, nephews, you need to tell them no, okay? Because I kind of believe that the vibes that I'm starting to get, and I saw it, Daytona's police chief basically said, we're going to start now for these events that just happen randomly, like what took place in Houston spring break. And I don't think it was random. They plotted this. Houston just didn't see ahead of time. I don't think they planned or really executed on controlling it like Daytona's about to control their spring break right now. So their businesses don't get destroyed. The people who live there can park their cars without things getting destroyed. And Airbnb owners and short-term owners don't have to deal with coming in back to the house that they leased out and it being a mess. And y'all wonder why they charge $2,000, $3,000 a week, a night, because y'all destroying shit. Your kids are destroying stuff. The people you know destroying stuff, and y'all shouldn't contribute to it. Don't contribute, man.
One of several lots taken over by hundreds.
But that joint was wild, though, bro. It was wild. Y'all did more in this spring break than we ever did in Freaknik, that we ever did in the Greek Fest. More. Oh, no. Y'all just reaching brand new heights. Literally, when I was looking at this Freaknik, I thought that, I thought this Houston, what was it, Greek picnic. I thought this was Freaknik all over again.
Hundreds of spring breakers. Several fights broke out, forcing nearby businesses and even this gas station to shut down early.
We do like 65-70% of our revenue after 10 p.m. We're a very late night business. Most of that's done after midnight, and our biggest night is Saturday night. And we cut that 12 a.m. to 2 a.m. time straight in half. So probably lost a couple $1,000s in revenue alone just from that.
For residents, the chaos hit close to home. Mandy Koger says some visitors brought the party into neighborhoods, damaging property and ignoring rules. She had to stop several parties at her Airbnb.
There was one time we looked in the backyard because we kept seeing these notifications, and there's like 20 people outside, and I'm like, wait, what?
City leaders.
My problem is, my only issue with this, and please like, subscribe, follow for more content. Go ahead and jump on our Georgia property list. It's a free list we give out, and I got a bunch of other free stuff down there that you can download and take with you. But I'm gonna tell you this. Check this out. You know already, if you're an owner and you do it, and you're doing your Airbnb during certain times, spring break, Houston rodeo, some of these Daytona spring break, all these different pieces, you know that this is what's going to happen. You know that. You're always going to rent to people that are going to tell you, hey, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that, we're great. And they look great on paper. Airbnb didn't ding them for anything. But you got to keep in mind that when they get there, it's a completely different beast. My first Airbnb, I literally had to, there was such people, we made it so crystal clear to them when we opened that Airbnb. If we find out that there's a party, and I had cameras set up all around, we're kicking you out and you're not getting your money back. Plain and simple. Simple. You got to tell these guys, or they will destroy your stuff. Airbnb may take days, if not weeks, trying to refund. There's been times Airbnb has taken months to refund their money. Okay? And but y'all can't be surprised if y'all end up on the news like this, because you dealing with ratchet ass kids. Okay? You're dealing with kids that ran away from home to go experience debauchery. And let's be for real. If you're a black adult and you're between the ages of 40, 43, probably going to 54, you remember Freaknik. You remember that the Greek Fest. Greek Fest is what we have in Philadelphia. We have the Greek Fest, the Great Greek Picnic. These things have changed over time, and of course, but you remember it, so you know what these kids are about to do. You know what they're about to do. And the worst part about it, I'm going to show you some of y'all grown men getting called out for being out there too.
The behavior is unacceptable and are exploring ways to hold the club owners and promoters responsible for drawing crowds that quickly got out of control.
The club owners should not tolerate this kind of behavior. And when they do facilitate an environment like this, it's unfair to the residents of Houston.
Now, business owners and residents here are urging the city to work with law enforcement to enforce some type of crowd control ahead of more events coming to this city like the World Cup.
Yeah. Now, I think what Daytona Beach's sheriff is doing, I think that this is a brilliant move because they're getting ahead of what happened at Houston spring break. They're trying to make sure in Daytona.
So, you ready? So, what we want to follow up on what occurred last weekend and where we're headed. And what I want to say is, my staff worked very closely with Senator Wright in 2022 to pass a special event zone. And we have used that probably a half a dozen times, mostly for truck events. And we didn't use it at all in 2025. And the reason we weren't able to use it in 2025 is my staff, the folks that work in the Real-Time Crime Center, both Daytona Beach and our folks, they were able to identify promoters, send them cease and desist letters, and make contact with them, telling them that if you promote an unsanctioned event, you are responsible financially for all the costs that we incur. And that worked. Well, in January of this year, my folks in the Real-Time Crime Center, my special events coordinator in Daytona Beach, they identified a handful of these promoters. And they sent them registered letters, including 2 that went out last night that we're going to talk about, that basically says what the law is. If you promote an unsanctioned event and we incur costs in police, fire, EMS, and trash cleanup, you are responsible for the cost of that event. They have gone unanswered. So now, what I would like to do with you here is put them on notice to the world that you are being noticed, that if an event pops up here this weekend, and we're going to name some people here, I'm coming after your Tesla first, and then we're going after the rest of your money to pay for this thing.
I like this guy. You know why I like this guy? Because he makes sure that the businesses keep making money, okay? And they make money the right way because nobody's trying to say don't come down and enjoy your spring break. But if you're going to do wild-ass events, we're going to come after your pockets because, and it's a good balance. It's a good balance because the business community needs that. They need that influx. They're cool with that, but they don't need the destruction. Who wants to come out to your car being vandalized, bro? Or your customers' cars being vandalized?
Now, I want to say this clearly because I know when we get these emails, this is about race. This isn't about race. It's about pop-up events, truck events, invade events, whatever you want to call them. They are illegal. They put a drain on the resources of this community. They put a black eye in this community, and they endanger public safety. So that's what this is about. So let's get that out there. I know we're going to hear it anyway, but we are declaring a special event zone from University Boulevard to Silver Beach, from the ocean to the river. What that means is all traffic fines are double. What that means is I can tow and impound your vehicle for the most minor detail. Tail lights out, you don't have a driver's license, there's no insurance, we're towing and impounding your car. Everyone we arrest will not be given a ticket. You will physically be removed from the venue and processed at another venue.
I like this. This is not a race issue. It's a mindset issue. Don't get it twisted. We got Hispanic people, white people down there also, but it's just the black people. Nah, I'm not going to say, because it's not just the black people. This is a mindset issue. We just see more black people because historically the culture's just been out there. We just been showing up at these events, ready to do the most ratchet stuff and destroy and make ourselves look crazy, make our kids, just letting our kids look crazy. I think this is perfect.
Walking down the beach with an open container, you're taking a ride. Smoking weed on the beach, you're taking a ride. Fighting on the beach, you're taking a ride. So that's what's going to take effect. The special event zone goes into effect Friday at 11 a.m., and we'll make the determination on Sunday on when we break that down. It'll be posted. There'll be plenty of warnings out there so that you can follow suit. It'll be posted. There'll be plenty of warnings out there so that you can follow suit. So we're going to show you a quick slide. Here is number one, Elia Brooks.
This joker got a hit list of all the favorite promoters that like to hit Daytona Beach. See, The Houston situation with spring break wouldn't have been as bad if they would have been proactive. And this is when I love it.
We got a certified letter sent her yesterday by Daytona Beach and sent to me, basically saying that has come to our attention that you are advertising, promoting, or sponsoring, or organizing or arranging via social media a Daytona Beach takeover, an unpermitted, unsanctioned event scheduled for March 18th to March 23rd. And it goes on to describe what it means, what an unsanctioned event is, how to get the proper permits, and then it goes on to tell you are further advised that as a sponsor of this event, you will be held legally responsible for the cost associated with supplemental police, fire, EMS, and sanitation services. So Elias is sitting behind a keyboard in Georgia. And I think she fancies herself, this is her new career. She was arrested in August of last year in Cobb County, Georgia.
Damn. Why? Why you got to be the people from Atlanta? I get why Houston is getting what is getting. It's not the people from the DMV. It's not the people from Charlotte. It's not those people from Miami. It's not the ones Jacksonville. This is my theory. We've got the people from Atlanta moving down to Houston and bringing the Atlanta antics with them. Same thing you see going down to Daytona, Florida, planning these whack behind events because they know the kids will pay the money to get into it. Okay? But it's that mentality, that broken mentality, that decaying culture mentality, that ratchet mentality that you're seeing coming out of Atlanta going into these other cities. And I believe it. I believe it. Because I watched most of this, and I'm not going to play the whole clip, but I watched most of this because I want to show you some of the reaction from this Houston deal fallout. But it seemed like the last 4 people that he mentioned, he went after specific promoters going for this Daytona event. The 4 people he mentioned, out of those 4, 3 of them were from the ATL. Oh, please. I'm not hating on Atlanta. I'm not attacking Atlanta. Listen, the entrepreneur spirit is great, but go do it by the book. All I'm saying is you could be an entrepreneur, because I threw parties before. I remember my very first party. I threw that joint right after I came home from the military, my first time coming home. My boy was like, we going to get down, dude. Let's throw a party. And I threw a party, and I shut down Anne Arundel County. Oh, no. Okay? Yes. Fort Meade, Severn, Anne Arundel County, all of that area, I shut it down. The party was crazy, and I woke up in the hospital because somebody hit me in the head with a chair, and I passed out. This is the type of shit that be going on. Oh, no. I'm only telling you from experience. Now we got an Atlanta culprit that reached his list.
For promoting an event involving juveniles, which wasn't permitted, it was unsanctioned, and it wreaked havoc on the community. Now her roadie here, who also features herself as a big thing, as you can see, Brittany Plummer is her roadie on this. So as you can see, day 3, spring break, and she's talking about what's going on. She's filming, as you can see, that's our beach. There's the shot tower, and she's posted all of these things. Again, unsanctioned, unpermitted event causing mayhem.
They coming after y'all. They coming after y'all. Hold on, I'm going to do one more.
This is the worst spring break experience ever. Police everywhere. As y'all can see, it's clearly you can't do shit on this beach. It's a lot. Who? They taking people to jail. What else going on out here? It's just a whole lot of racial profiling going on. Just a whole lot of racial profiling going on. You don't see no white people in handcuffs. You don't see no white people. They talking to no white people. They talking to all the black people, as y'all can see. This is the worst experience of.
They talking to the black people because the black people are down there doing the ratchet shit. Oh, don't think that those white people not going to get arrested if they doing some crazy shit. They off out of pocket, or they throwing something they're not supposed to be throwing. It's not sanctioned. They'll drag them too. They're equal opportunity, and it's been too long. Just like we dealt with the kids with these takeover events, it hit Atlanta in multiple ways. They holding the parents responsible. They've been hitting New York, Long Island. I saw it. I saw them in Chicago, these takeover teen events. They holding the parents responsible. They bring in civil charges, and they need to bring civil charges for this too. They need to. I would feel some type of way. See, I don't even want to move to certain beach locations because I've got kids. And the last thing I want to see is my son saying, "Dad, yo, like, what's up?" And he built like a linebacker, so he looked like he played football for somebody pro. But I don't want to do that. I don't need to put them around that ratchetness. Go ahead.
Spring break ever. Everybody's standing around because police is literally finding people. Well, people literally came out here to have a good time. It's police everywhere. You can't do shit on this beach. You can't even walk without getting a motherfucking fine. Straight up.
I ain't even gonna lie, this shit worse than Orange Crash. At least on Tide Beach.
Man, yo, this police chief is up here playing all of their clips. I didn't put this together. The chief, I literally saw this is their public service announcement. It was filmed live 24 hours ago. He's literally talking to a group of other police officers and also any people in the community of Daytona that want to come out. So he's giving them insight on what it was like last year, and he went to their social media and pulled their clips. Bro. Boy, yo, wild, man, wild. People, wild. And then some of you guys going down there.
In the house, and I've been watching that footage. The wives, the potential wives, we in the house. I don't know what's going on out there. All I know is I'm about to start me a DNA test in clinic on a pull-up because there's going to be a lot of babies that's made and y'all just out there giving it out. If I was y'all man went to Houston this weekend, cut him off. Woman, cut him off. Y'all terrible. Y'all just giving it out. Like, what's wrong with y'all? I'm confused. And then a man that went out there looking for something. Oh, baby, I wouldn't trust y'all. I wouldn't trust nothing that was in Houston this weekend. Last weekend, whenever this shit started. Y'all is crazy. I don't know what y'all thinking, but y'all better look at the HIV rates. They ain't low. That's all I gotta say. I was like, and people asking me, is you coming out here for what? Ain't no money out there for me. What am I coming out there for? I live in Dallas, baby, not Houston. I moved to Dallas for a reason.
Wise choice. Now, when you got businesses that are getting shut down, I think the dude lost about $60,000 just that one night with that gas station. One night. If I owned a gas station and y'all came and camped out in front of my shit, and that one night I lost $60K, oh, hell no. Hell no. First of all, y'all wouldn't even be there. I would have the cops out here. It's so much.
I gotta count out real quick. The bitch, I gotta make sure I get money. You hustle, you get too much money. I don't even know how much this is.
Spring break, Houston. Yeah, we at the gas station outside of Seaside Lounge. Yeah. Shit, y'all would think that the motherfucking party was outside the gas station. It's so motherfucking lit. It's so motherfucking packed. We are outside.
Y'all taking over a whole neighborhoods. They taking over whole neighborhoods. They taking over whole neighborhood, mansion neighborhoods, and doing mansion parties.
Everybody want to come to Houston for spring break. Let me show y'all what the fuck is going on. Be careful, man. I'm trying to tell y'all, man. Look at this shit. It's nothing but glass. Nothing but glass. All the way up. Look at this. Look. That whole shit busted. I'm in this shit. What the? Only God knows what the fuck was in there. Look at this. Nothing but glass. 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 Man, y'all want to come to Houston, man. Be careful coming to Houston.
If you've been praying for a STD, go on down to Houston. The results are in.
You know, that looks like that was that last video where he broke the glass was broken. That looks like Midtown Atlanta. That's why I say some of the kids they just changed locations just for the weekend and went down to Houston. That's it. And they took the same antics with them. That's it. My brother got his car broken into last week, Midtown Atlanta. Shattered the window. Good God, it was a rental. Pulled the gun, pulled everything out. Atlanta just get that mentality, and they just take it some other places. Now, I'm not saying don't do that down there, that they don't do that. I'm not saying it's the exact same people. I'm pretty sure they got people that do smashes down there too. But, dude, the mentality, money.
Y'all, why the fuck is them motherfucking B&Bs to Houston $2,000 fucking dollars, right? Who the fuck is y'all playing with? Houston, y'all might not even be seeing me unless I get a hotel. And I didn't even want to get no hotel because y'all know how y'all be in a hotel in versus a B&B. Like,
And then
2K.
We told y'all not to come here. Well,
Hell no. See, that's why I talk about mindset. That chick she ain't got a daddy at home. Nobody gave her the right mindset about that. Look, that's horrible. That's hard. How you spend $2,000 now? If it's my Airbnb, girl, you can definitely get the $2K.
Congratulations.
Matter
well
of fact,
done.
I might charge you another $1,500 deposit because I know how y'all roll, and I done seen y'all come through the Airbnb, do some crazy stuff. Got to chase y'all down.
told y'all, I was scrolling, listening to them tell y'all. While today I was ear hustling, and this girl was like, her homegirl left her iPad at the Airbnb, and the fucking host blocked her. The host blocked her. Now, when I lost my shit, I went back and got that shit immediately. Y'all leave shit at these people's houses and they take y'all stuff. You just got to be more careful. But that's also tacky, too. I'll leave a terrible review. But I also won't forget my iPad. That's my baby. Y'all be careful, man. And safe travels all the way back home, man, whenever y'all get home, man. Because obviously y'all couldn't get out of Houston today.
Let me tell you, I lost somebody threw a party at my Airbnb. Y'all messed around and left the freaking phone down there. Do you think you got that phone back? Hell no. Hell no. You ain't getting no phone back. And that was a new iPhone too. Moral of the story, listen. Yeah, Houston, moral of the story is Houston, we're going to talk about you. We're going to talk about you from the rodeo. We're going to talk about you from spring break. Next piece I'm going to do is the cost of living in Houston. Because obviously, y'all don't care. Y'all letting these kids just do like crazy shit. And I love Atlanta because Atlanta put a shutdown to that Freaknik, even though I miss Freaknik, please. I'm sorry. I miss like the Greek Fest. This just the energy. It was beautiful women, the energy. It's just when they went all the way out, like out of pocket, doing like out of pocket stuff. Like, bro, I got to go. I got to go. Got to go. But, you know, y'all is wild, boy. Y'all wild.
Today, I'm signing 2 historic executive orders continuing my administration's efforts to help more of our citizens achieve the dream of home ownership. It's called the American Dream. Thanks to our purchase of $200 billion in mortgage bonds, mortgage rates recently reached the lowest level in 5 years. This dramatically reduces monthly payments for new home buyers. The annual cost of the typical new mortgage is down almost $5,000 since I took office. I'm very proud of that. I also signed an executive order to stop Wall Street and large institutional investment firms from buying up all the single-family homes in the scheme to turn them into rentals and make lots of money in doing it. We want America to be a nation of owners, not renters. Today, I'm taking action to help reduce rates even more and make it much easier to build new homes in America. The first executive order is about bringing more community banks back into the mortgage business. 2 decades ago, over 5,000 community banks were offering mortgages. Today, that number has been slashed by more than 50%, largely because of burdensome, unnecessary regulations that radical liberals imposed on community lenders for the benefit of their donors on Wall Street and, frankly, for the benefit of themselves. The result was less competition and higher mortgage rates for hardworking Americans like you. That is why, under my order, we will eliminate the thicket of unnecessary rules and restrictions that crippled community banks. They've been hurt so badly. We're bringing them back. When more local banks start offering mortgages again, fees will go down, costs will fall, and home buyers will be able to get a mortgage under the more affordable terms that we're insisting on. The second executive order I'm signing today.
He's bringing it back. He's bringing it back. Okay, bring you up to speed. If you're living in the city of Atlanta or in this Atlanta metropolitan order and in area, and I know it's the same thing for Charlotte, and I think Jacksonville too. I saw Jacksonville, parts of Dallas and Houston, but it's major, I think, in Atlanta. Atlanta, a quarter of the homes are actually owned by institutional lenders, institutional investors. I've worked with these type of guys before, and what they do is they give you a buy box, and that's why I encourage investors that are small mom and pops to actually think like these guys, because they give you a buy box, and in that buy box, your job is really to stay within that box when you send them deals. So they want you to, if they want a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, it's got to be under an acre. That's where you get the deals from. So staying in that buy box and them running that particular type of criteria has allowed them to acquire so many of these properties. I think it was an awesome thing around 2008, 9, 10, and 11. It really brought the market back. But now it is having some type of effect. So I do think that this is necessary. But one thing he didn't do, and one thing I haven't seen, is a detailed breakdown of what's in this specific order and how does it affect it directly. So I'm looking for that. And I got one more video after this, so see if they get into that in a little bit.
Will help lower construction costs for building new homes so that home builders can offer Americans more affordable options. I'm going to sign them right now. No auto pen, okay? That's my real signature. It's not an auto pen. Like,
yo, this cat is wild. No auto pen. He's wild.
Had in the past. As part of the Green New Scam, the Biden administration and many state and local governments added endless, ridiculous regulations that raised construction costs very, very substantially. With my order today, we will slash many of these pointless regulations that do nothing for safety and add lots of costs. It's really unfair to the home buyers, and ultimately, they're the ones paying for this disaster. Under the Trump administration, we want to make it possible for every American to live that American dream in a beautiful home, and it's really the one that they pick. It's going to be the apple of their eye. So I just want to thank everybody. Our country is doing really well. It's being thought of all over the world with great respect again, more than maybe it's ever had. Thank you very much. Have a good time.
So what he's proposing is controlling the buyers that come into the market, institutional buyers, and then simultaneously trying to draw down or push down these interest rates for these credit cards. Now, I'm going to tell you, the credit card situation and the construction portion, so important. The reason why New York is suffering, the reason why some of these larger metropolitans like San Francisco, like remember when they had the forest fires over there in the Palisades, to build back property or to even build, period, it can take up to, I think the last stat I saw in New York, it could take up to 2 years to build, 2.5 years to build a home, to get permitted and build because of the process. California had a 5-year process. with the Palisades in order to build one building. In Atlanta, in Georgia, we can get the permits and have the construction done in 11 to 10 months. 11 to 10 months. Yeah, of course it can go into a year. That's based on the type of product. It's always based on the type of product. I mean, shorter time if you're talking about a single family, 3-bedroom, 2-bath starter home or something like that. But the reality of it is they have too much time between when they get the permit or even getting that permit issued to them, when they apply for the permit, when they're done and they put in the last nail and you move into the house. He's right about that, okay? And there's some things I disagree with Trump about, but he's right to cut that back. But the other problem is when you cut through some of these red tapes and you try to expedite these products from getting done, the issue we also have, which you go check out my video when I talk about new home construction, is that these new home products come out and they don't do a great job. You got drains that aren't connected underneath the house and sewage that's spilling out. So just like they cut the red tape, there still has to be some level of accountability still to the final product. Yeah, we get home inspectors, but honestly, I've seen them do bad jobs. I mean, turn around and okay chimneys that were warped in D.R. Horton homes. So there's a balance to this, and I don't think we're really going to see anything coming for this for another year, honestly.
Taking over Greenland from Denmark, and that is a huge topic of conversation at the World Economic Forum because so many leaders from Europe are there, and negotiations over Greenland will take place later today. But you also probably, for the past several years, it really got worse during the COVID pandemic and during the Biden administration, and now President Trump says he's going to try to tackle this issue and bring down housing costs. But he has to strike a difficult balance because on the one hand, he wants to make sure that housing is affordable for those looking to buy a house. But on the other hand, he said in his speech today that he wants to maintain high housing prices for those who have equity in a home.
That's it right there. You can't maintain the same level of value on these homes and then make it affordable because at this level right now, the homes aren't affordable. They just aren't. You can't do it unless you give them free money to get into the place, unless you increase the down payment assistance for them to do it. You can't do both of those things and expect those things to balance out. So I got to say right now, President Trump, I'm really not with you right on this, honestly, because there's no way to balance that out unless you give away money. They give away money. The market naturally, and we're in a buyer's market, naturally will pull back so buyers can enter the market. It needs to be naturally done. I mean, there are things you can do to help keep it from tanking and going under. But when we look at it, honestly, somebody's going to lose. Either it's going to be the people that buy houses and they're going to end up paying more or a high amount for it, or it's going to be the people that own the houses and their values come down.
Who own a home right now. Of course, you don't want to tank the market because so many Americans, that's their biggest investment of their lives is home ownership. That's the American dream after all. So he's trying to make it attainable while also making sure that he maintains those high prices for those who currently have a house. The steps that so far he's taking to do that are threefold. The first, which he signed an executive order on yesterday before he left for Davos, is to basically block or ban big Wall Street firms from buying single-family homes. As you may know, these big investment firms over the last decade, maybe a little bit more than that, have been buying up these single-family homes and then renting them. That, of course, is good for those investment companies because they can make money off of renting these houses out, and they also have the real estate value of the homes themselves. But it's causing a problem in the housing market for those looking to get into it.
Hey, if you're trying to get on our Georgia property list, these are off-market property homes. Look at the description. In there is a link. It's free. It doesn't cost anything. Join the list. You'll get an updated Friday notification to your email of any of the new properties that are off market that we're dealing with.
to buy a house, everyday Americans looking to do that, because there's limited inventory. That's a huge problem driving up housing costs, because these investment firms have bought, as the president said, up to 10% of all single-family homes in the United States. And so what President Trump is trying to do by blocking these Wall Street firms from buying single-family homes is open up that inventory to everyday Americans trying to buy a house. The second part of this plan is directing Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac to buy mortgage bonds, $200 billion in mortgage bonds. And the goal of that is to lower interest rates for those looking to get a mortgage, a loan to buy a house. And then the third part of this might seem unrelated, but the president kind of connected the dots in his speech today, and that's capping credit card interest rates. So what the president says is that Americans are strapped with credit card debt because these credit card companies are charging such high interest rates for people who use credit cards to make purchases, so that they're unable to save money to put a down payment down because the interest rates on their credit cards are so high. So what he's looking to do is cap credit card interest rates at 10%, which in theory would mean that Americans have more money to save up and make a down payment on their house. So the president covered all.
I think the reverse side to this is that some people won't get credit, because you got to realize 10% on a credit card, most of these credit cards are like 18, 19, 25%. Even if you're trying to build your credit, you're still going to have a high starter rate, which I've seen people start at 16, 18. I was building my credit at one time, and my first credit card was like 22% or 23% around there. So unless you're doing doing a secure credit card, I think what he's doing is going to cap credit for a lot of people that are trying to build their credit if they don't have some type of extenuating circumstance put into it. And that's going to keep them from building their credit and getting into the market. And that's real, because if you cap that 10%, they're going to have to make a decision. Do we go with you and give you 10% and you got a 525 credit score? Or do we turn around and say, okay, you got 525. We don't have a product for that. I'm sorry, I got to turn you down. Now you don't have to build it. Now you got to go find a way to put some money into a secure credit card in order to build it. And so I think it's good intentioned, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to work. Doesn't mean it's going to work. It's just good intention. That's it. Right? Let's rock with this one.
An income tax on those who make more than $1 million a year here in Washington state is now a step away from being signed into law. The State House passed the measure after a marathon debate. It's now back in the Senate for final approval before heading to Governor Ferguson, who has said he will sign it. The new plan taxes income over $1 million a year at 9.9% starting in 2029. Opponents fear it could push residents and businesses out of Washington state. The tax is expected to end up in a court battle. Some are now weighing a citizens' initiative to try to repeal it. The bill appears to have already prompted one big name to say they're going to move out of the state. KOMO senior reporter Chris Daniels live this evening at the State of Downtown event in Seattle to explain. Chris?
Yeah, Preston, this is a long-planned annual event that is coincidentally happening at the time when the state appears poised to make a major change to the tax code. And former Starbucks CEO Howard Schultz says he will move out of the state. And there are some whispers in corners of this room that is just the first shoe to drop.
So a couple things happen with this, with Washington. If they do this, and it looks like they've done it already, pretty much solidified it, they're done. I think it's got to get signed by the governor, if I believe, but it looks like it's going to go right through. They do it, the millionaires and billionaires leave, everything goes up and jobs decrease. They may physically leave to live in another state, but slowly, as the effects of them leaving affect their business there, so they can relocate, they're going to need to relocate their headquarters to where they're at. You don't think the Starbucks CEO is going to stay in Florida, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and have his home office all the way in Washington state? And what, he's going to get on a plane and go to the home office every time? He's going to fly out in his jet? Come on. It's cheaper for them without having state taxes to take that corporate office and bring it down to Florida. the blue states that don't have state taxes, like Washington was one of the ones that were able to actually get it done. I think Delaware is one, right? If they're able to do that, I mean they're sitting on gold right there. Somebody told them this is a smart thing, but now they change it. This is slowly going to roll from being a millionaire's tax to an average everyday person tax, just like you and me. Because it's nothing to say, oh, we're starting at $1 million. We might need to drop it to 7. We might need to drop it to 5. Slowly, the jobs are disappearing. The businesses are going away. The cities aren't getting the money from the commercial companies that they need to have downtown to supplement the taxes. Same thing with Chicago. Chicago's going through the same thing right now. They've raised taxes, hit the people so hard. And what happened? Now you got Chicago's mayor talking about a deficit over $1 billion. Where's the money? The big businesses have already left downtown Chicago, very few of them. So now, how do they get that money? They go to Lincoln Heights, 135% taxes on people's homes. So when we put these people in offices, we got to hold these people accountable. We got to be involved and just not vote for them based on the color of their skin or because we like their flow, we like their character, or we like, oh yeah, they're good, they're great characters, we like their flow. They got to be about the business, and the business got to be about making the wealth stay in your communities and getting into your home and your household. They're not about that. And when they're not about that, they open the door for a lot of issues. They make it harder for you to live in the city. And that's just my message. I'm not covering a millionaire's tax because I got millionaires listening to the call. I'm covering it because people, we're going into midterms and we're going to vote to put certain people in place. And the question should be, what is your perspective when it comes to my real estate? What is your perspective when it comes to my home taxes, property taxes? When it comes to my income tax by the state, what is your perspective? How do you feel that we can cover this budget? We don't ask these hard questions. We just turn around and put them in that position. A lot of times, black people, we do it simply because, oh, that's a black person. We think they're going to advocate for us. That's not necessarily the case. If anything, is more not the case than it is, because in this climate, some of these politicians want to be social media content creators. That's the truth. Jasmine Crockett. That's why she lost. And she could have easily won if her head was in the right space. Her mindset was right. You know? They would have won. It's not that anybody has a problem with a black woman. It's not about that. It's the fact that we want you to articulate yourself clearly and not try to be a social media star. But these politicians are doing that because they saw Trump doing it. And that Trump thing don't work for everybody. Not everybody is a Trump. So now we got these guys and they passed this bill, and slowly but surely, you're not going to see it affect you because you're like, oh, we got the millionaires. But when these millionaires and billionaires start moving out to businesses, you better be in a place where you get creative enough to make your own streams of income. You got to. That's your only way. I told you, I believe a recession is not just here, but when the stock market crashes, which it will, we're eventually going to see a depression. No, the last time we had a depression, right, was in the 20s. The last time we had a depression. Do you think anybody who's alive that remembers a depression? Do you even know what it feels like? You read about it in school. We read about it. We studied it. We see all the analytics and the numbers go. But how does it really affect us? Some of the best companies were made during a depression. And I'm not going to dive deeper into it. But this is not a millionaire issue. This is an average person issue. If you plan on getting a job, having a salary position or even an hourly position and working, whether you're in New York, Washington, and you want a fair wage and you're somebody that really does the work, this is going to affect you because it's going to make it harder for you to find those jobs because those people left. Or when they're there, they're building and putting less Starbucks in, putting less places and locations in because the cost to do business there is too freaking high. This is Matt. This is real.
Senator Matt Binke, live from Olympia. Want to tell you this millionaire tax is an everybody tax. It's coming after everybody in the state of Washington. You should be fired up. You should be passionate. You should be getting after it. Tell your family, friends, the Democrats here, the majority party, and our governor says they're coming after taxing more people. Even after $9 billion last year, they want more. We need to get people here on Olympia. We need to write. Everybody, call your legislators, call the governor's office. We need to stop this. We need to stop it now.
So the Washington state income tax just got passed, and I see constantly that people don't understand how this Washington state income tax works, and they believe it'll only stay to the high earners, the millionaires, but it's not going to. History just taught us that. So how this tax works is the Washington state constitution doesn't allow for a progressive tax structure, meaning that an income tax would have to apply to everyone at the same rate. So this 9.9% tax is written so that it applies to everyone, except it adds a deduction, $1 million deduction. So what that does...
Wow. I already see this coming. Let them finish.
Is it makes everyone who's earning less than $1 million per year exempt from having to pay the tax, because it lowers their actual taxable income to zero or less than zero.
That's crazy. So that means you're going to get a tax bill for $1 million, 9.9%. Like, well, yeah, 9.9%. They said. So so in essence, they're going to tax you $1 million, then give you a deduction for $1 million. Yo, these people are crazy.
You can't have a negative tax liability.
Yeah.
It just goes to zero. So what's going to happen, and I can guarantee you this is going to happen, they're going to start chipping away at that deduction amount. They'll either remove it entirely, and then that tax applies to everyone across the board, or they'll start reducing the amount of the deduction. So instead of $1 million, maybe they'll reduce it to maybe the first time $800,000. So then everyone making over $800,000 has to pay the tax, and then they'll reduce it a little more, and a little more, and a little more. You know, like a frog in a pot of water. If you go throw a frog into a boiling pot of water, it's going to try to get out. But if you slowly increase the temperature, and again, history.
So if you don't know that terminology, that's how you. They said how do you cook a frog? You put them in the water and you slowly increase the temperature bit by bit by bit. You don't. If you throw them in a boiling water, the frog will hop right out of the boiling water. But the frog will slowly get bogged down and feel unable to move if you slowly turn the temperature up little by little by little. And that theory is not even theory. That practical way of getting things done in certain situations is being applied to this. That's what he's saying. That is a way of executing. We learned that in the military too. I mean, you slowly turn it up little by little by little, and then you incentivize the response that you're looking for, which is the frog. You want the frog to die and create frog legs. You don't have a cover and a top for it. So he's saying that that's what we're looking at. That's what they're looking at. I'm saying when they see this, and if they feel it works and they got it through, Washington State is already talking to New York. New York is already talking to what other crazy, Minnesota and some of these other places to find out how they can use that same millionaire's tax, which you saw Mandani talk about, to extract money out of their top income earners to supplement the people that aren't making as much money. And
just taught us this. I mean, when they put in the federal income tax at the very beginning, way back when, they had first told people, oh, it's only going to be temporary. Well, it never stayed temporary, did it? No, we still have it now today. And if you compare...
So he's right. We started we didn't have a federal income tax as a country up until, I think it was World War I. When we had World War I, the argument was, how do we fund the war? Guess what? Let's do a federal tax. People were on board for that because that meant we could raise the money and people were patriotic and they were excited to do it, even though some people didn't want it done. That's true. But they felt the need to actually win World War I, superseded all of that. So they did it. After World War I, we've always had an income tax. We never had it prior to that time, a federal income tax. We never. They took the money after World War I and said, oh, we needed to rebuild. Then we went into World War II. Of course, we got the money right here. Then we went into the Vietnam War. Of course, we got the money. That reasoning to keep that federal tax there was set up for the right reasons and kept for the wrong reasons. Okay? Kept for the wrong reasons. Now we got this big federal machine that runs on you being plugged into the matrix like me. We plugged into the matrix, right?
The state's tax burden to other states, it's pretty significant. I mean, I saw this one list and it showed like people live in Wyoming after they, pay for housing and their tax burden have like a $4,000 per month disposable income, based upon a mean. Somebody just picked a number on an income and compared, but Washington State only had like a $3,000 disposable income. Now it's going to be 10% less. So like I said, I guarantee you this millionaire tax is not going to stay restricted to just millionaires. Eventually it's going to include more and more people, especially as these millionaires who don't have to live in Washington and don't have to have their companies based in Washington, they're going to be like California. They're going to start moving them. Look at California. They increased their taxes and companies have started moving out. So then what happens? That tax amount from millionaires goes less and less and less as more millionaires leave the state. So now they're going to have to start including the middle income earners. If you think this millionaire tax in Washington State is going to stay just to millionaires, you're a fool. Millionaires.
Since legislators passed the income tax bill, it's likely that we will see a citizens' initiative to try to overturn this tax. Because of this, you're going to see a lot of messaging about who this income tax hits and what it funds. But there are some very important things to note. First, they will claim that it only hits millionaires. That is true for now, but the way that the bill is written allows that tax threshold to expand to people who aren't making $1 million per year. And as a matter of fact, legislators voted down multiple amendments that would have locked this tax to millionaires exclusively. So while the bill technically only impacts millionaires today, it is written in a way that will let it expand tomorrow. Next, you're going to see claims about what the money funds. There will be claims that this is going to tax relief for small businesses and families, and that it will go to fund things like free school lunches. Most of the claims are going to be based on intent language in the bill. So this is language where the bill says this revenue is intended to be used for these types of things. But there is no legal backing to that. They do not have to fund any of the things that they intend to fund with this language. Once again, legislators voted down amendments that would have tied the funding legally to some of these programs, like free school lunches. So when you hear claims about this tax only hitting millionaires, or where the revenue is going to go to programs like free school lunches, double check the actual text of the bill and do some research. Because the way that this bill is written does not lock them into either of those things.
Wow. Okay. And to me, when I look at this is just the experiment. Just the experiment. Because if they figure they can make this work there, then eventually what does that mean? Other states will start to adopt it. The same way Texas is same way that Texas doesn't have a state tax. Florida doesn't have a state tax. They learned it from each other. If they find out and figure out, hey, this works, we can tax them. California's going to jump on board. New York's going to jump on board. And I hate to say it, man, some of you guys that are living there, y'all going to have a hard time. And y'all don't think y'all going to have a hard time. And it's something about that mentality about thinking that you have to hold these people accountable for being wealthy and successful at what they do. Y'all can believe that they rob, steal, kill people as much as you want and all this other secret stuff is going on. But at the end of the day, I think it's a huge ignorance to not understand how to actually build wealth. And it's not about buying a real estate property. It's not about owning 50 doors or 100 doors. I got an argument with this guy on my face, on my one of you guys chatted me and was like, hey, multifamily real estate is a good investment and you're lying to the people. I'm like, no, it's not a good investment if you don't know what the fuck you're doing. It's not a good investment. Any property, storage unit, raw land isn't a good investment just to say you're building wealth and this. You should understand the tax code behind it, how it's alleviating your present tax burden and how it's creating implications on your taxes going forward in years to come. You don't understand that. You just hear the culture tell you that, hell, it's cool to go ahead and to have real estate. And that's not the truth. It's not. I got put into the industry because God put me in the industry. I learned so much, but honestly, I don't have a bunch of real estate. I've had and owned real estate throughout the years of me being in real estate, the 20 years. Sometimes I end up selling it. I tell them, we're going to sell this. We're going to sell it. The income was better to be able to put in a place that was more flexible and mobile and than actually keeping it in that hard asset. And that's the problem with the culture. It's a go along to get along. It's a misinformation. It's a partial information. It's, if you think that it's easy, how easy you think it is, double that, triple, actually times that by 10. How hard it is, put 100 on top of it, how hard it's going to be. So if you're like, man, it'll take me a year, I can get 2 buildings or three apartments. Why don't you take that from a year to about 2 to 3 years? And I'm not hating on you. I'm not making it harder for you to do it. I'm not speaking anything negative. I'm giving you the practical application. Anything you think that you can do in a period of time, always add 20 to 30%, sometimes 50% more time onto that. Always do it. Because if you've never done it before, it's a different skill set that you don't have, and you have to develop that skill set.
Real estate is not the best way to get rich unless you want to wait 10 to 20 years to do it. Instead, try one of these 3 things first. Number 1, create a product. It can be a consumer product, a beauty product, or even a tool, or something that hasn't been updated for years that you can make better. Number 2, create a brand. This can be a lifestyle brand, travel, personal brand, or a popular niche that you can grow and monetize. Trust me, there are people every month making 100K plus from their personal brands. And number 3, and this one is my favorite way to build high income fast, create a service. This could be AI, video editing, copywriting, or one of 100 other options. Pro tip, when you're ready, master the art of cold DM and email strategies and watch your closing rates skyrocket. So build one or more of these 3 options first, then diversify into real estate after you have your financial base covered.
And this is not the first time I heard it. And I had to pull this in and share with you guys, because the misconception is I'm going to get into real estate, I'm going to become successful, I'll buy a house, and now I'm building wealth. No. The way, what's his name? Dave Ramsey is able to do what he does. He's building what he builds, all his real estate, on a platform. His platform is debt freedom. And he gets on the radio and he tells people, now he's online telling people, people are buying his courses, getting involved in it, and taking his practical application that he used in his life in order to apply to their lives. But they're feeding into his brand and also into his product. Now he can take that money and pay real estate off and have cash flow in his real estate, period. And that real estate is going to appreciate. And he'll have it rented out. The misconception is that's the breakdown in the culture. The culture thinks that this is going to solve their wealth issue for the years coming down the line, that they'll be able to live off of money coming in for rent. I'm going to tell you, you're going to have some rentals that bring you, I had one rental that only gave me $300-400 a month. You have some rentals that give you a little bit more. But after you start seeing $300 to $400, $500 a month, and that person's there, and they damage walls, and they damage carpet, and they damage this and damage that, and you don't understand the tax issue, so you don't know you can write some of that shit off, and you're just going to let it ride, and you're going to eventually say after a year, damn, I only made $300 to $400 a month on this rental, and I spent $10,000 fixing a tenant issue, and you're like, oh, this shit doesn't make sense. And then your tax person is going to tell you, yeah, you can write this off, but you're not going to see the power behind that, because you never sat back and built anything that required tapping into your creativity to do it. That's why I say the millionaire tax is bullshit. It's bullshit simply because you're taxing people that tapped into creative ability to build something, to create something. And you think that that's how you push a country forward. And I'm telling you, anyone listening to my voice right now, your creativity that comes from God is your ultimate wealth building tool. And you need to learn how to tap into that.
Okay, so we have the plan. Let's go.
That is the worst thing you can do, right? Investors, I hope you can hear me. Testing. Do not run from your problems in real estate. If you get punched in the face, so what? Get back up. You're not the only one who has gotten punched in the face, right? I always talk about Jake Paul. When he got knocked out, he was like, wow, right? Like, yeah, you're going to get punches in real estate. And yeah, it's going to suck. And yeah, you have to deal with it. But you cannot claim that you're non-confrontational and that you don't want to have challenging conversations and then be in this business. So you have to deal with it.
If you think the rich own...
See, and that's why I say this is a mindset issue. It's not about I get a bunch of properties and I become rich issue. No, it's not. It's I get my mind right and I create wealth in real estate. I create wealth on brand building, digital products, things like that. I create something that solves a problem for somebody. We have to change what we do to a value-based wealth building mindset. Meaning we got to find out where we can add value to the people's lives that we want them to buy from us. Well, that's it. Yeah, you say, oh man, I'm going to get a bunch of houses and people will move in there and I can solve their issue when it comes to affordable housing. Okay, cool. You did that. But you still really aren't fixing the issue because you just got a rental and you put it out for Section 8 and you solving one person's issue. That's true. But you also created an issue for yourself because Section 8 may pay you for your cash flow after expenses $300-400. So you tied up putting $20,000 down, $15,000 down to get $300-400 a month when you could have invested that money in an AI tool. Let's say, for example, a chat bot. Let's say, for example, some type of audio tool that calls and dials people for you or people call you and it answers them. See, that's a creative thing and that requires you to actually step into that place of creativity and create that product because that digital product, that service, the brand you tie to that will pay you when you sleep over and over again. Then you take that money and you throw it into real estate. Then you take that money and you throw it into hard assets. This is the shit that nobody showed me that I had to learn the hard way. I'm trying to tell you. So you don't spend the next couple of years going down this road and get one house and find out that you're like, oh, this real estate thing is BS. Or do one flip. I had one dude do one flip. And he's like, I was talking to him about real estate. I said, dude, yeah, I heard y'all flip houses. Yeah, we did that 2 years ago. I said, okay, cool. Yeah, I lost my shirt on one, man. I had to come out of pocket $10,000. I'll never do it again. More property for me. Oh, no. You gave up nice and easy. You didn't even figure how to put the pieces, block the pieces in the right places. And that's what it's about. That's why I say the culture is broken. Y'all see the Lambo. Y'all see Floyd Mayweather sitting in the car and he's bought 400 doors and all this other crap. And I'm about real estate. I hope that this reset in this market, the buyers that are out there take the time to realize what they're buying because those same people end up selling that shit when they keep seeing a negative each year. And they didn't realize that that asset is just there to hold my money, appreciate my money, grow my money, give my money a tax haven. This is the higher level thinking. Come on up. Just come on up. Don't clip me off. Come on up. I'm not crazy. I'm 20 years done in it. Don't just come on up. Come on up and understand that there is more to this than just getting a house, getting a duplex, getting a quad, doing that. Because I got friends that are trying to liquidate their portfolio to get to the other side, which is hard money lending, because they're making money and the money's turning over faster and faster and faster. And it's like, how can I make more money like that? I got to liquidate all this other shit. I bought this ahead of time. They waited 10, 12 years down the line and realized they had some wins, but not to the caliber that they could have had. They left a ton of fucking money on the table. That same cash could have been used to actually fund other people's deal. And the velocity of money now is coming and going out faster, 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 and faster.
Houses and cars, they don't. They own something that you can't see, and it's making them billions of dollars while you're buying financially depreciating assets. You are source consciousness. You are the creator, condensing infinite realities into one reality with your attention.
Ooh, that boy bad right there. I had to go to his page and I said, dude, you bad, bro. You're condensing infinite realities into, repeat that thing one more time. Repeat it one more time.
Are source consciousness. You are the creator, condensing infinite realities into one reality with your attention. And if you actually understood that, you wouldn't be spending your money on shit that depreciates. You'd be investing in the one asset that can never be taken from you, that multiplies every single time that you use it, that generates wealth from literally nothing, like intellectual property. Coca-Cola's formula is worth more than every factory, truck, and bottle that they own combined. The recipe, which is one piece of intellectual property, is valued at over $250 billion, while their physical assets are only at about $10 billion. That's a 25-to-1 ratio. The intellectual property is worth 25 times more than the physical property.
So, give you concept. I took this channel, which was just sitting dormant. I think I had this channel for like 9 years, right? It was 8 years, I think. But I didn't do anything with it. I probably load a video here, one or two there. I'm running all over Atlanta trying to do deals, cut deals, all this other shit. One day, I get up, he said, hey, make content. I'm like, okay. The market is shifting. What do you mean make content? I need to go out here, dial. I need to talk to people. I need to, do some networking, shake it, make content. I go to the YouTube channel and I purposely focused my mind on making a content channel that will help people merging real estate and culture together in one place. Okay, so that means we got a mindset deal. In the course of doing that, I monetized in 60 days. That means in 60 days, 1,000 subscribers, and I was well over 4,000 views. I say that because I took that information and I also put it in the link below how to monetize your YouTube channel in 60 days. Just the basics that you need is a basic start one. We're not doing any advanced sessions, but it's 9 modules on how to actually do that. Now that piece gets purchased by people, and now it does it when I'm sleeping. And I tell people, do the same thing. You get in there, learn how to monetize it, boom, and you create your version of it. Because some people will listen to you that won't listen to me. But the reality of it is that piece that you did, that's a creative piece that can pay you, and you can increase it year after year after year.
Every physical thing that you own right now started as intellectual property in someone else's mind. Your phone was created from someone's idea of a phone. Your house was created from someone's design of the house. Your car came from someone's engineering blueprint that came from their mind. Physical assets are really just frozen intellectual property. The intellectual property is primary. The object is secondary. But you're out here chasing the object because you need to see it to believe that you have wealth. You need the big house so people know that you made it. You need the luxury car so you can feel successful. And that's not true wealth. That's really insecurity.
That boy cooking. That boy cooking. I got rid of my Land Rover, bought myself a little hybrid something. I'm done. I'm done. I said I can't chase you guys' expectation of what you're supposed to see when you meet me. I don't care. I can't chase it. I'd rather chase what can I build creatively. This is the season where this is the most important thing. I'm telling you, come closer to the screen. Listen to what I'm telling you. This is the season where this becomes more important than anything else you're dealing with. More because your job will let you go, but your intellectual property will stay. Your job will let you go, but your streams of income that you build around that will stay. And you don't need, we're in a pivotal point in history where we do not need any money to make money. We just need a great idea to create what we see and then the ability to distribute it. I love what Alex Hormozi said. And if you don't know who Alex Hormozi is, he wrote a book called $100 Million Offers, $100 million leads, $100 million systems. Let me show you. Every time I get a chance, I expose people to this. I told my little cousin, she got out of college and she got a marketing degree. I said, you need to go get this book, $100 Million Offers by by Alex Hormozy. Learn how to write some offers. Because a lot of people, they start businesses, but they don't have any offers. Y'all don't have anything to make people come to you. You think because you do fried chicken, niggas gonna come to you. Nobody care about your fried chicken. You know, $100 million leads. You don't even know how to bring the leads in. It's multiple ways to bring it. $100 million systems. You don't have a model or system to pivot anything off of. These are three books that run $29.99 that have made me tons of money. This is why I say the culture has been broken. We got to repair this so that we can take the value that God has put in us and share with the rest of the world. That's it. Nobody needs your fried chicken if your fried chicken ain't bringing no value. What does your fried chicken do more than Colonel Sanders' fried chicken?
Real wealth is in your mind. It's in what you know, what you can create, and what you can teach. You can lose your house in a fire. You can lose your car in an accident. You can lose your money in the market crash. But knowledge of how you made that money, that's still in your head. Intellectual property is the only asset that survives total material loss. And it's the only asset that grows when you share it. If I give you money, I have less money. If I give you a car, I don't have a car anymore. But if I give you an idea, we both have it. And now that idea can multiply through both of us. Most people are stuck trading time for money to buy depreciating assets because they don't understand that they are the source of wealth. Wealth comes from the ability to observe a problem and bring a solution into existence, from the ability to take an idea from your mind and package it in a way that other people will pay for it and can pay for it. That's intellectual property. And it's the highest form of value in this reality because it costs nothing to create. You don't need money or time. You just need your mind and attention. So I wouldn't buy real estate. I wouldn't invest in physical assets. I wouldn't put my money into anything I can't take with me if everything burned down tomorrow, because I understand that I am the asset. My ability to think, to create, to teach, to build systems, that's the wealth. Everything else is just a reflection of that. So you have two choices. Keep chasing the car and the house and the watch, or start building intellectual property that makes money while you sleep.
Yeah, so I used to think that the money and
that boy cooking. And listen to this over and over again. I'm going to repost this video. I'm going to cut it up. Listen to this over and over again, because that small change, I'm telling you, it will save you the 10 years that I spent running around doing and imitating these people with some of this BS that they got out here. Some of these lies and BS, these things designed to make you broke when you leave their presence. I'm telling you, look.
estate was just about selling houses. Don't get me wrong, it is, but that's not the whole game. Here's what nobody explains. When you're in an industry that already has money flowing, you don't build wealth by hopping industries. You build it by stacking roles inside the same one. People hear multiple streams of income and think, oh, let me go be a hairstylist. Let me go and do taxes. Oh, I'm going to go and work my 9-to-5 job. Oh, I'm going to go and open up my kitty spa and whatever else it may look like. I might go be open up my own daycare. I'm here to tell you that that is not multiple streams of income. That is confused income. Because real multiple streams of income are connected. They talk to each other. They feed each other. If you're a realtor, you can be an investor. If you're an investor, you can understand lending. If you understand lending, you understand timing, leverage, and structure. That's how money circulates every month without you starting over.
She's telling you what I'm doing. She literally laid it out right there. I told you I'm a real estate agent. I'll show a property in a day. I'm a real estate broker. I can bring people on to work at the brokerage if I wanted to. Another straight, but I'm an investor. So I go out and invest, wholesale, find those type of deals. But in addition to that, hard money lender. All these things work together, and the systems that are running behind me, well, physically behind me, but behind me, are bringing the people in and feeding them in. So now a person can come in looking for a deal, and they can meet also the lending portion to it. And they may sit down and go through a wholesaling course that I have. Or they may sit down and say, okay, cool, we got the property. We want to do something creative. Let's make some content in order to put it out there. I got a content course. All these things intersect each other. You gotta start thinking like that as quick as possible, as fast as freaking possible. Because like I said, there is a depression coming. There is a breakdown in the whole system that is going to take place. People are, and it always starts with knowing who you are. You can do it. That's really what it is. You can do it. You have been given the God-given skill, talent. The Spirit of God is in you. Oh, look, go to Sunday morning church. Oh my goodness. But you're not, he's a creator. You're a creator. I'm telling you, I'm waking you up to what you are in him. You are a creator. So everybody's a creator. Donald Trump creates. The way he put himself in that position, Donald Trump is a creator. When Trump lost his money back in I think it was in the 90s or the 80s, Trump lost his money, was broke. I think he was down it was some insane amount. It was over close to $1 billion, insane amount. All the real estate he had to file bankruptcy again and again. Now, people talk about the bankruptcy, but they don't talk about this one key point. He went from being a real estate guy to being a brand guy. That's how you got Trump Towers. That's how he brands out his name to these different countries where they build these hotels, and he makes money. He'll probably oversee the design, and they have to fit certain specifications, but he's not running the ship. Very few of them is. His name is out there doing that. That's a brand deal. These are brand deals. We got to think higher than that. And that's all I'm using. You don't have to like Trump, but know that concept is there, and it's not for Trump, just for Trump. It's not just for Elon Musk. It's not just for Jeff Bezos. It's for you. It's for all of us to do it if we're willing to put in the work for it.
Let me be honest. Grinding as a realtor is not for the weak. You're rebuilding your pipeline nonstop. You don't have no days off. No matter how much you want to take a break, you always have to work. Because if you're not grinding, you don't have a pipeline. And if you don't have no pipeline, you don't have no paycheck. I'm saying this as an entrepreneur who has made $7,000 a day, $8,000 a day, $100K in a month. I'm not making this up, and I'm not hating on anybody. I'm just telling you from somebody who's actually lived in that. Like, you get what I'm saying? Real money is not about catching one deal. It's about positioning yourself so that you're always making money no matter what. You shouldn't be asking yourself every day, how do I get my next deal? You should be telling yourself or asking yourself, how do I stay in the flow of money? That's why I decided to become a lender. That's why I decided to enroll in lending classes. I refuse to be in the money industry and only understand one way to get paid. It doesn't work for me. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to stop being a realtor. No, I'm always going to be a realtor. I'm just adding to the career that I believe I'm going to substantially succeed at. Now that I understand how this works, I want to stop chasing checks and start building circulation. And the goal is to position myself to be in every deal I can be on without losing. So now when it comes to finding somebody to get my clients pre-approved, guess who can do it? As long as it's disclosed, you can be the lender for your client and be the realtor for your client. Doesn't that make a lot more sense? Or am I tripping?
No, girl, you're not tripping. Hey, like, subscribe, follow for more content. I hope this kind of helps you get into that mindset, because it's not just for real estate. It doesn't matter. Whatever you do, you can apply it. There is an ecosystem that runs around all of these major services. You just only tap into one portion. And she's right. I know people that they got a tire business, then they got a hair salon, then they turn around and they clean houses, and they think these are multiple streams of income. No, these are like scattered weird money. You got to run over here. You got to manage people there. You got to do this there. No. Why do you think certain businesses, they also have a buy box when they expand? When Walgreens, I was talking to this guy. I'm at a cigar spot this past weekend, hanging out, listening to my favorite DJ. And this guy, I asked this guy, can I sit right there next to him? So we sit down, and he starts telling me he sold his pharmacy business to Walgreens. He had bought the building in College Park, Georgia, bought the building off of Godby Road, showed me it, was very proud. He turned around and sold it. He still was a pharmacist, a nuclear pharmacist too. Very weird. I've never seen one of these guys. A nuclear pharmacist. He was still a nuclear pharmacist, but Walgreens came to him to add his business to their portfolio. They wasn't buying tire locations. They wasn't turning around and buying home health locations. They wasn't doing any of that. They were looking for businesses that fit into their box. And when they fit into their box, those businesses became additional streams that they can now bring into it. Why did they buy it from him? He's like, Leon, I was doing 1,000 prescriptions a week. 1,000 a week. And he a little small mom and pop little spot. 225 he paid for the building. You know, I got to know these numbers, but I don't say, tell me, give me the numbers, baby. Just give me the numbers. 225 he paid for the building. He held it for about 12 years, was doing 1,000 prescriptions a week coming out of it, well into 500,000. So now he established he makes 500,000 a year working there with 2 employees. You can say he's taking home about 3. Cost of operating the business, take another 50 off of that. He's got about 250. Now he's cash flowing 250K for showing up every now and then. And he's still a pharmacist, and he can do other things related to his pharmacy license. Walgreens moves in down the street. He said, Leon, I went up to him and I just gave a phone call. They asked me these questions. I got the building. Yes, I own the building. How many prescriptions you do? I do this amount of prescriptions. Walgreens bought that from him, and his exit plan was a multi-million exit plan. Multi-million-dollar exit plan. Not even talking about the assets and the stuff he accumulated just with that cash flow. You build and you tier these things. And that's the real estate lunchbox. I just want to get your mind right, yo. Like, subscribe, follow for more content. I just want to tell you the shit that I feel like a lot of people pulled my strings. They didn't tell me it. The real estate is a rough business when you come to people. You may get your license, you may study your course, but you never get really a good understanding until you get out and you get dirty and you find out that not too many people out here are your friends. So you got to find good information, and people are destroyed because it's not even a lack of knowledge, I think, anymore. Is a lack of good information, good knowledge, like real solid knowledge. It doesn't happen overnight, but everything that you need is in you. And they don't tell you that. You got a brain to be able to solve the situation. You don't need them following you around and paying them tons of money to do that. You got a brain that tells you this makes sense, it doesn't make sense. You got a gut that tells you when you need to step up and pull away from a deal or anything like that. You got all of that. All of that has been given to you by God. Why? So you can dominate on this earth. Like, subscribe, follow for more content. It's an hour and a half in. I try to make this an hour. I am out. I will see you guys on the next video. Be blessed. Remember, God made you in an image and his likeness. Keep winning. Forget about what these Negroes got to say.